So for a long time, I had a big snacking problem and I just couldn't get rid of it. Most days my calories were on point, my protein was dialed in, workouts done, got my steps, had a healthy dinner, and then 2 hours later, I'd find myself in the kitchen snacking and canceling out all the progress from that day. I tell myself that I'm going to do more steps tomorrow to make up for it, but then tomorrow gets busy and nothing changes. And now as a coach, I see the same pattern, holding back so many guys from seeing results. You do well for the entire day and snack away all of it in 15 minutes. So in this video, I want to go over what finally worked for me to fix my snacking problem and the most important things you need to have in your routine to never deal with this issue. Now, the first change I want to go over is one that sets up the foundation for the rest, because I realized that if you don't have your baseline meals dialed in, snacking is almost impossible to fix. So the first thing you need to do is identify what I call your personal hunger window. What time of the day do you struggle the most to stay consistent with your diet? And for me personally, it's the evening. I'm never hungry in the morning and I'm too busy in the afternoon to think about food. But once the kids are in bed, then I'm hunting around the house for extras. And I've tried a lot of different ways to fix this, but the only thing that worked consistently was to move my calories around so I have the biggest meal of the day in the evening. So now I allocate my daily calories with a 25-25-50 split, where 50% of my total budget is reserved just for the evening. This keeps me full when I need it the most and also gives me more food flexibility for family dinners. Now, with this style of calorie allocation, you don't actually have to spend all of it in one meal. Sometimes I'll save 200 calories for a planned snack like a protein pudding or some cottage cheese. And this one change alone has made a huge difference to reduce my mindless snacking. Now, with that said, this only solved a part of the equation, which is physical hunger. It didn't fix stress eating and cravings, which is where this next adjustment comes in. And I want to introduce you to something I call the chicken breast test. If I get an urge to grab something late after dinner, I ask myself one simple question: would I settle for lean chicken breast and a salad right now, or is the only thing that's gonna hit the spot something specific like cookies, ice cream, or chocolate? If it's the latter, I know I'm dealing with a craving, and what I'm actually looking for is something to change my mental state. Maybe I'm bored, or stressed, or tired, and I'm just looking for something to lift me up. And it's really important to have the skill to recognize the difference between real hunger and fake hunger. You can also tell them apart by how quickly it happens. Physical hunger builds up slowly and it stays around for longer, where cravings and fake hunger peak within 20 minutes, usually for very specific foods, and then go away pretty quickly. So what I do now when that urge hits is first set a 20-minute timer on my phone, then drink a glass of water and go do something else. Take a shower, hit the like button on my videos, wind down in a different room, or go watch some content about ancient Rome or whatever I find interesting. This is going to be different for everyone. Now, after those 20 minutes are over, half the time the urge just goes away. It was a false alarm. There was no need to eat anything. And if the urge is still there and it's real hunger, well, then I know that I failed with my first change where I didn't allocate enough calories for dinner, or I need to pick more filling food choices. And it's a really simple heuristic, but it's very effective. And by the way, if you'd like me to coach you and design systems like this to help you get lean, details for coaching with me are in the description below. Now, this next change to fake snacking has a lot to do with your psychology, because we're not all wired the same. For example, my wife can easily have a little piece of chocolate and she's good. She doesn't want more. But for me, if I'm dieting and I have one piece, it's very likely I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Even if I manage to only have a single piece, it's just a matter of time until I go back and eat the rest. Some foods are really hard for me to moderate. I've always been like this. That's how I'm wired and that's my psychology. And after years of doing this, I realized it's easier just to avoid the temptation altogether. You might be the same. And if your house is a minefield of junk food and visible temptations at every corner, you're gonna really struggle with consistency. So to match the plan with my psychology, I follow two simple rules. The first one is I don't bring snacks I enjoy into the house. I pre-commit to a healthy diet in the supermarket. That stuff is just not coming in. And since we had kids, this has become even more important, because if there are cookies or chocolates lying around, my kids will also want some. And I don't want them hooked on processed food and cheap dopamine. Now, this doesn't mean that we never eat processed food. It just means that if we as a family want ice cream, we're going to go out and make it a family event. Because I know if that tub is in the freezer, it quickly becomes a daily habit. And the second rule I have in place is that I'm not allowed to look for snacks someone else brought to their house. So if my wife has some treats that she enjoys and can successfully moderate, that's off limits for me. She's going to put them away somewhere where it's not visible, I don't know where they are, and I don't care. The decision is already made. And with these two rules in place, there's enough friction for me to avoid a lot of the mindless slip-ups. I'm just not exposed to as many temptations. And now with all that said, I want to be honest and realistic with you, because the truth is, no one ever got lean without feeling some hunger. The question is just how much hunger. Too many guys try to lose weight too fast, cut their calories too low, and then complain how hard it is. Of course, if you're under eating, your body will be fighting you and the urge to snack will be very hard to manage. So before you even think about how to stop snacking, make sure your plan is realistic and sustainable. If you're someone with a larger appetite like me, don't try to lose more than 1.5 pounds or 3/4 kilo a week. Then you won't have to starve yourself. And if your goal is 15% body fat or lower, you'll also have to learn to accept some moments of hunger as a part of the process. The problem is, these days, most people panic as soon as there's even a small drop in comfort. The brain goes straight into danger mode and they impulsively start grabbing stuff. And anyone who's gotten lean will tell you, we can do a lot to reduce hunger, but you also have to just get used to being less full and accept some of it without overreacting. Because once you reach your goal and switch to maintenance, you'll be fine. This is a temporary issue. And see it like I do. It's just a sign that you're losing body fat. And everything also gets better over time as you put in more reps. Every night you don't give in to your cravings, your brain is rewiring itself. Over time, you stop being a slave to those cravings. You get more control. That's how you get more consistent with your nutrition, build healthier habits, and get the physique that you want. And if you'd like me to coach you through the entire process of getting lean, details for coaching are in the description below. Also, if you have a lot of belly fat to lose, check out this video next.